Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, guess what time it is again, my friends? It's time for the Rant. The Rant. The Rant. The Rant. And today, we're going to be talking about...
anger. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
We're going to do it now. Hello. Welcome to the show. How you all doing? Everybody doing good? You're enjoying your Sunday if you're in the US and the UK? You're all happy? Daylight savings? Did it fuck your mind yet? Whoops. Let's read. Oh, no, the algorithm. Did it your mind yet? Oh, I forgot to hit the beep button. What's happening? I'm Jade. This is How to App on iOS. I've lost the plot. I've utterly lost the plot. I can't feel anything throughout my body. I've had no sleep. Just want to... I need somebody to hold me. Let me tell you a few things. I'm going to go on a mini rant before we get into it. First, welcome, Warriors. There's 171 of you. I'm utterly blown away by that. Thank you all. I'll go on a mini rant in a second. Let's say hello. Gary, Hugh, Clay, Mark, why am I doing this with my head? Thomas, Audible, Pookie. All right, that's enough. I'm starting to get dizzy. Who else is here? Let me scroll and make sure I got it, people. Greg O'Sullivan, Joe Glenn. Man, I'm losing my shit here. I don't know how I'm going to get through this week, but I've got Mark. Oh, man. Let me know if you're here so I can say hello to you. If you're lurking, that's cool too. There's some emojis. All right. Here's Greg. We've been trying to push Pete into it for ages. Pete's a bit slow. If you hear Pete, you still haven't done it, dude. What's going on? Barry Glenn. Everyone, welcome. All right. I'm losing the plot. Because this whole thing of this walking thing was a really fabulous idea. In my head. Hi, Jenny. In my head. Really good idea. No, but in all seriousness, great for content. I'm really glad that you're enjoying watching it because I'll keep pumping it out. I'm going for it. Yesterday was really tough. I didn't want to get up. I was laying on that couch. I was watching G-May's Jammy Awards. I was chill. I'd done a live performance already. I'd done a Patreon show. I was ready to kick back and do absolutely, totally all. And then I was like, you know what? Oh, my God. I'm going to have a little nap and see how I feel. Had a little nap. Woke up at 4 a.m. 4 a.m.? Well, that was a big nap. 4 p.m. And because it's daylight savings here, right? I looked out the window and boy, the sun was still shining. It was one. I thought, I've got to go out. So we did it. Got up, grabbed all the gear, put it in the backpack. Out the door we went. And wow, was it hot? It was really hot. I didn't expect it to be that hot. It's summer. And yeah, the interesting thing about these videos is I'm doing what? 33 minutes of walking? And it's taking me like an hour and a half to film and do the walk and then come home and do 3 hours of editing. It's a lot of work I didn't really expect I'd be doing. And then when you look up at the clock and go, wow, it's 1 a.m. and I have to be up in a few hours. Ah, man, what have I done? What have I done? I already have no time to do anything else. But now I feel like I have even less time. Hello, FPC. Being able to say that I ride my bike to work and back is way cooler than actually riding a bike in the rain and in the dark. Absolutely. Yep, words and actions. But pushed through yesterday, got it done. I was freaking out when the crows were attacking my drone. I wish I could have caught it, but I caught only a little fraction of it in today's video. If you saw the little crows flying past trying to get my drone. What is it about my drone? It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. I am producing full movies each day. You're right, Jenny. It's become that. It's brutal. But yes, woke up this morning feeling like absolute dog crap. But I'm hyped because I jumped on the scales and I lost a kilo. I've gone down from 102 kilos to 101 kilos. Yes, it's not only because of the walking. Yes, I have changed my diet completely. I'm still in the process of removing all carbs. Bread, goodbye. Potatoes, goodbye. Be gone. And I do my grocery shop this week and it will all be proteins. It will all be fruit and veg. I'll be cooking more curries and Thai food. And I virtually have no sugar in my diet anyway. So I don't eat a lot of sweets. So yeah, it's a combination. It's working. This is actually working. So that is the motivation to keep getting up and doing it and knowing that I have no life left to do anything else. I already feel like I've won. Yeah, already feel like I've won. Hello, Fish. What's going on? So there's that. We've covered that. Is there anything else I need to cover? Pookie says that would make me be an angry person. Got to have my carbs. I know. Potatoes are my weakness. You know? It's not young boys. Potatoes are my weakness. I just love their sweetness. It's not young boys, let me tell you that. That's more Gary Glitter's kind of thing. God, I'm on fire today. Yeah, so no pasta, no stuff. No pasta, no potatoes. And we should be right. Okay. Let's Ojin. We got some really cool stuff happening this week. If you're hanging around on the channel, yeah, some wicked apps. We got. I haven't done all the thumbnails yet, so I tried to get through thumbnails last night, but it's just a lot of work. So tomorrow we're looking at this. FabFilters Pro R2 is out. It is simply the best reverb. There is no doubt about that. And then the day after, we are taking a look at the brand new Groovebox door, whatever you want to call it, called BAM. It's going to set everyone on fire. And what I can tell you now, I don't have the thumbnail up, this week's interview on the channel. This week's interview is going to be sick. Anyone want to guess who I've got on the show? Anyone want to throw out a guess of who's coming on the show? Come on, give it a guess. I'll just tell you. I have Scars and Shadows coming on the show. So you may have heard her music around lately across some of the shows. And I'm lucky enough to have her exclusively coming on the show to find out who is Scars and Shadows. Because her music's sick. Yeah, so we're doing that this week as well. That's just a little look into what is happening. Okay, shall we get into it? We're 9 minutes in. Yes, this is the rant. You've come here to hear what I'm going to talk about today. There's the thumbnail. It's got David Banner and the Incredible Hulk in his absolutely shithouse wig. All right. So there you go. Hello, Ron, Wolfstone Studio. Hello, Roadies Jam. Cave, what's going on, Mike? Have I missed anyone? If I've missed you, I'm a dick. I'm doing my best. I saw someone else here. Here we go. Is there someone I've missed? Oh, I can't see. My glasses are shit. Anyway, I love you all. If you're lurking as well, lurk. We're going to rant. We're going to rant. So today is on...
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry, Mr. McGee.
So that a classic line from the Incredible Hulk, right? And, right, I do say that a lot, don't I? Right? Yeah. Anger, man. It's something I've had to deal with for a long, long time. It's been a part of my life. It's like Dexter. It's like that shadow, the constant dark passenger following me around. The anger that I have carried around for a long time has been a real pain in the ass. And I'm going to talk about how actually it was we. It felt like it was me and my anger living this shit world, walking around together, constantly battling the demon of anger who constantly wanted to lash out, not only at others, but at myself. And it took a long time to get around that. You got to love a Dexter reference, huh? Boom. All right. Firstly, we need to discuss what anger is. So, of course, we're over at our friends, the Britannica Dictionary, to find out more. Anger is a strong feeling of being upset or annoyed because of something wrong or bad. The feeling that makes somebody want to hurt other people, to shout, etc. The feeling of being angry. He couldn't hide his anger at us. You could hear the anger in his voice. The group vented its anger about something that somebody had done. Anger. The general word applies to many different levels of emotion that may or may not be shown. She kept her anger within herself. Yes? Because it doesn't have to be something that you express, that you openly explode with hello, Lord Spike Protein. Anger is a general word that applies to many different levels. Yes, I've covered that. Suggests a loss of control because of great anger. They were screaming with rage. Let me zoom in so you can see what's going on there. Suggests a violent anger. In their fury, they smashed all the dishes. Wow, that would have been an expensive anger, because anger can cost money too. Yeah? Ooh, has it cost me money over my years? Wrath is a slightly old-fashioned word that suggests a desire to punish somebody or to get revenge for something. Yeah? Anger. So, anger. Where does anger come from? Well, it comes from emotions, doesn't it? And that's what we're made up of. We are emotional beings, right? And it's very hard to control these emotions. I think that's one of the things, in my opinion, all this is just my opinion, I'm just ranting. So don't think that I'm invalidating your opinion with these shows. But it's incredibly hard to control. I can't even see properly. Let me change my glasses. To control our emotions. They're what makes us different than, the wonderful animals that inhabit this planet and are slowly getting eradicated because of our greed and stupidity. But you look at a lizard, right, or a huge goanna. You got this lizard brain. You open it, let's say you keep a goanna or some kind of big, large reptile. You open the cage. The first thing it thinks is, food, man, food. And it wants to bite you. But lizards can be, things like goannas and stuff can be trained with ball training and stuff like that to understand, I don't have food, man, relax. But emotions don't really come into it, right? But they're very smart creatures, and I'm focusing on reptiles, but they are very smart. You can see them actually thinking and processing data that's going into their heads. But at the same time, they don't sit there judging a decision going, you know what? I'm feeling a bit self-conscious today. I don't think I'll bite that asshole who's putting his hand in my cage. Right? So animals run on, that instinct. Where we have instinct as well, and sadly, as a species, we tend to, bury instinct like it has no value. Right, where instinct, comes in really. It's an important thing that we should maintain and understand and let be. But in doing that, there's emotions mixed in with it, and anger is one of the ones that I feel, for myself, is the hardest to control. I mean, love, right? It's hard to find somebody to love. Especially these days. Everybody's too busy putting fucking selfies up of themselves. It's like, hello, are you in a relationship with me? Or that photo you've just posted of yourself on all social media? Lord Spike says, I remember I was angry and full of rage. I asked God why I was like her. He said to forgive her, she can't help herself. I did, and the spirit of anger went away. I was judging Mama. Boo. One person's experience definitely does not extrapolate to everyone. There are similarities in our humanity, but also massive variation. Absolutely true. Blue Unicorn says, for me, it's just hard to love somebody. It is. I don't trust humans, he also says, with my emotional safety. It's increasingly hard to love people. I'm finding that. But I'll tell you what, why is it increasingly easy to dislike people? That's shit. Hello, Auntie G. Hello, Leela, by the way, is also. And again, if I miss you, I'm trying to follow chat at the same time and go on. Right, so where was I? Anger. Oh, yeah, I'm talking about anger, aren't I? But anger, right, comes from emotions. And emotions are things that you can't. All right, let's just go on this little rant for a moment. When I hear people write, facts, not feelings, fuck your feelings, that's what I think, man. So you're going to tell me, right, that your feelings don't come into it. You're expressing your feelings by saying that right then. Getting all feeling, going, fractional feelings. Yeah? Feelings, you can't, like, you can bottle them up, but they're going to come out. Like, think about a balloon, yeah? You take a balloon, you tie it up, and you try and squeeze the air out and try and, right? And it's going to come out over here and go, boop, right? Until it bursts. This is what happens when people try and bottle feelings and try and squash them down and not deal with them, right? And you got to express them. It's just the way you express them is, you know, they can be dangerous. But people who say, feelings don't come into it, like, that's what we are like. Not only are we blood, water, bone, but feelings determine nearly everything we do every day. We are just punching bags full of feelings that continue to express our feelings day by day, punching each other relentlessly over fuck all. So, when I hear people say, fuck your feelings, facts, not feelings, I don't care about people's feelings or how you feel or who you feel you are and all this shit. You know what I think? The first thing I think is you're a sociopath. Antisocial personality disorder, sometimes called sociopathy, is a mental health condition in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights of feelings of others. People who with antisocial personality disorder tend to purposely make others angry or upset to manipulate or treat others harshly with cruel indifference. They lack remorse and do not regret their behaviour. So, I don't know, next time you're on like a Twitter thread or X, whatever you want to call it, and you're like just about to write to somebody, but I don't care how you feel. Just remember, you're a sociopath, right? You're maybe you need to go check yourself in and get some help. You know what I'm saying? Because feelings are a part of who we are. And it's not so much controlling them, I don't think, like pushing them down and trying to contain them too tight, but this, talking about them, expressing them. For a long time as a species, I think we've sat around and bottled shit up for so fucking long that, we're like... We're like volcanoes. We're like these individual volcanoes walking around on the planet with bubbling magma underneath, bottling this shit up. And then this is how you get people just exploding and just having mental breakdowns. This is how we get to a place where so much sadness and depression and anger and anxiety because we're not talking about it. And it's so weird when you see somebody say, listen, look at this person talking about their feelings. What are they, work? Okay, that very same person who shut down and say, You shouldn't be expressing yourself. Could be the next one who goes out and buys a gun from Walmart and walks around and mows down your children. You know, this is just what it is. But anger has been a problem for me for a very, very long time. And I'm going to go into the story of my anger and how I've coped with it. Russ says, I'm glad I'll never get angry. I'll leave that. Hello, Axiom. Hang on a minute. Blue Unicorn says, I probably wouldn't buy my gun from Walmart. Exactly. Why would you, Blue Unicorn, when you can just go to a local bank? When I was in America, I went into a bank to withdraw money, and they were now this is mid where they were selling guns in the bank. Just hang on. Is that a recipe for disaster? I'll just take out $10, my last $10, and I want to buy that gun, thanks. Okay, thanks. All right, give me all your money. Is that just me? I don't know. Where am I going? I want to go back up here. Jenny says, a few years ago, I got into an online chat with a sociopath who said others just couldn't understand him. I wanted us to feel sorry for him. Well, you know, I lived in a house with somebody who was a sociopath, right? And sorry, makes me feel like my money is safe. Even the bank needs guns, man, to protect your hard-earned cash. I lived in a house with this dude, speaking of sociopaths, and the girl who kindly let me stay in her house for a little while. This was her ex-boyfriend, and he would come over and just like totally gaslight, and he was an absolute sociopath, just like one of the most insipid human beings you would hear. And he'd like rile her up and just say stuff to get her pissed off. And as soon as she would say something and go like, and let out anger, he'd turn to their daughter and go, see, your mum's a lunatic. And I watched this for months and months and months going, how do I get to a point where it's just me and him? And eventually that day came, and it was me and him. And he was standing there, and I was standing there, and there's no one else in there. And he was like this close to me, and I just went, bang, smack under the chin. And the dude went down and was like, oh, Jade hit me. And I'm like, me? I'm a girl. Why would I hit you? And no one believed him that I hit him in the face. Oh, man, it felt so good. Months of watching this guy be such an evil sociopath and get this girl so upset over just nothing. And get her angry and just get her emotions boiling. Some people are just demented. See you later, Mark. All right, where was I? Let's get back to anger. Anger. So where did my anger issues begin? Let's talk about these. So my anger issues began from a very, very early age. I remember being angry super young. And I remember being in a lot of arguments with my dad, who was a very angry human being himself. Unfortunately, like many of us, our parents come from a completely different era, right, where bottling shit up, it was like the done deal, you know. Tough it up, just get on with your life and toughen up. And then you have the result of parents who are just terrible parents, which was my dad. Explosive anger was my dad. The smallest thing, he would explode into a rage and take it out on me most of the time. And that started to trickle down onto me because, you know, you look up to your parents and the things they do, and you think that, well, I guess that's how you be. And that explosion became a part of my makeup. But was it him that encouraged me to be like that? Because later on, I started to find out more about myself. And as I've talked about on this channel before, being trans and stuff, my dad used to catch me all the time dressing up as a girl from like 5 years old and all this shit and take me out the back and slap me down. Seriously, this was my dad. His anger was so uncontrollable. Instead of like, you know, trying to work out why I was doing this thing, he'd go, at like 7 years old, out the back. What? You're going to take me out the back and punch a child? Okay, I guess so. And you know, hey, if that's what made him happy, I guess. I went out and I got beat for it, yeah? Until I didn't. Until I got to about 14 years old. And he went, outside. I went, okay, let's go. And then I jobbed him and punched his front tooth out of his head. And he's still missing that front tooth. But I regret that, right? Because I don't even know if that was anger. I think that was revenge. Revenge is a whole different cup of deliciousness. Speaking of which, give me a second. And yes, you are right, Andy. He didn't know any better. Yeah? This was his dad probably did that to him. This shit just gets passed on and passed on and passed on. You know? Didn't know any better. So, but yeah, his anger was really explosive. And as I went on, my anger was very explosive as well. I would lose it back at him. And we would end up in these full on just screaming arguments, smashing shit up. And it was really toxic. Axiom says, I feel you, Jade. My mother beat my ass with her fists in front of the entire neighbourhood. All the kids stood at the fence laughing at me every time I would get off the ground. Man, I'm so sorry that was a part of your childhood. I mean, it's people wonder why there's so many of us like fucked up, you know? Not only do you have to deal with the shit at school, going to school, you know, this is our thought process as a species. You go to school and you're wearing the wrong kind of footwear and you're fucked. That kid's wearing those shoes. What a loser. Like, it's like, dude, they're shoes. And you got to like comprehend and deal with shit like that at school and then go home to that such a volatile situation. It's a wonder why we haven't nuked ourselves yet. Touch wood. Touch wood, everybody. It's probably coming. But yeah. So my anger got worse and worse to the point that I started to take it out on myself. And not only was I lashing out at others around me, I was starting to take it out on me in really... This is embarrassing. I'm gonna like most of these shows, I'm going to not sugarcoat shit. And we'll see if anybody else has experienced anything like that. But first... I'm sorry, guys. I have to do it. We've got a word from our sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTube content creators earn money through ad revenue. And recently, YouTube has decided to block ad blockers. So in complete transparency, I now present you the ad midway through the stream to let you know that it's coming and we can hold up the show till those who don't have YouTube Premium can come back. So let's run that ad. You may or may not get an ad There we go. The ad has been inserted, so we'll just give a little bit of time for our friends without ad blockers or whatever it is, YouTube Premium to come back. And then we'll continue on with the show. All right. So we paid our sponsors. So my anger turned into, I hope you're all back, those who did get an ad. My anger turned into inward onto myself. And there are many ways we can be utterly terrible to ourselves. I'm sure I'm sure we all know people who have cut themselves. People can be quite cruel to themselves. It's definitely a thing that we do, and it's really sad that our emotions lead us down the path of hurting ourselves even more than some of the ways we are constantly bombarded with pain and shame and misery and all this kind of shit that is constantly throwing at us these days, that we turn it in on ourselves. And for me, I began punching myself in the face. It's really hard to comprehend this now, because I can remember some times being so angry that I couldn't feel anything. Everything was so hot and everything felt so red and blind with rage that I was just going, you're shit, you suck, and literally punching myself till I had a fat eye or busted lip. It's really rough to think about. And I know there's other people who have done this kind of shit, because I've gotten help for my anger and heard some horrific stories of self-abuse, and even of stories of just people smacking themselves in the head like this or cutting themselves. I mean, we do some pretty incredibly messed up things to ourselves. And yeah, I remember one particular time I lost it, and I can't even remember what the overall thing, what led to this, but I was so angry that I was on the floor, literally screaming. It felt like forever, and punching the floor and punching myself and just losing my shit completely, awash with rage. And I don't know even how it got to that point. And you know, when that happens too, when people get to that breaking point with anger, the after effects too are really fucked up, because there's a shame. You feel ashamed of what you've just done to yourself, and embarrassed, and there's this I can't do that again. I can't do that again. And then you find yourself in that position again. But I had people say I need to maybe see somebody about it and talk about it. And I did try to seek medical help and talk about it. I did try to self-medicate. But I've self-medicated my whole life. But more for party purposes. No, but I knew that, Lord Spike. I knew that this wasn't that's not who I am. There's a reason. There's more than just my dad being a bit of a dick. There's more than just, the pressures of the world. There's got to be something else. And I had been carrying around something else for a really long time, which we'll get to. You know what it is. Talk about it all the time. So I did go to help, and just hearing people talk about it was odd because it's different than like something like AA or because you're trying to cut out an addiction. You're trying to cut out something that you're doing to yourself. But at the same time, this is like it's not something you go and purchase and put in yourself. It's a different kind of reaction to a thing you can't even define because our brains still can't get around to how our brains work. I was on development of a voids program last night, and we were talking about, AI and all this stuff. And, we can't replicate our own brains because we don't even understand our own fucking brains. So this is a really hard thing to work out. Why we do this to ourselves? And yeah, I will get to this as well too, Kim, because you are right. Anger's not always a bad thing, but I'm saving that to the end. So yeah, these little group things I went to didn't help. The psychiatry that I went to didn't help. It was something else. And it took me to reach 30 years walking on this planet to work out what it was. It was something that I knew my whole goddamn fucking life. Yeah? I knew what it was. It was the same thing my dad used to take me out the backyard and slap me around for. Can't wear a dress. What are you, gay? Who cares, idiot? I'd rather be gay and eating 100 dicks a day than being you. You know what I'm saying? You're a dick. The irony of my dad telling me you're a gay and you want to suck dicks, and he's the biggest dick in the world. And I certainly didn't want to suck him. Anyway, ridiculous. But yeah, my problem was I hated who I was. I looked in the mirror for 30 years and hated what I saw. My brain was telling me I was something else. And I'd been beaten down and told, you're not this. It's like, yeah, but this says I am. So how the fuck would you know what I am? You know what I'm saying? And like beating somebody down over it's not going to change it. It's not going to change it, man, at all. And it didn't. It just got me angrier and angrier. And you know what? It turned me to start turning on myself. I started hating myself and I started physically abusing myself. Because our brains do odd things that we don't understand. Yeah? I was pretty much trained to fucking hate myself by the people around me who are supposed to love me. So it wasn't until I went to a psychologist over transition and walking down this new path of like exploring who the fuck I actually really am and how this thing I've been carrying around, the actual dark passenger. And after because I don't know, let's just cover this for a second too. The preconception in this world at the moment about trans people, I'm just going to break a few myths. I don't know, it seems to be this mental delusion at the moment that they just hand out hormones to people and go, come and join the trans club, everybody. Here's some hormones. Here, give them to your kids as well. If you think like that, you're an idiot. Let me just tell you that. Because that's not how it works. They put you through 2 years of just psychological evaluation to find out if this is the right path that you need to take. You have to demonstrate and live this way to prove it. They just don't give out the drugs and turn your kids into the opposite sex. It doesn't work that way, right? So I had to go through this whole process just to get the drugs as a 30-year-old human being. You think they're going to be different to children? And the thing was, when I started this psychiatry, I already knew what I was. I didn't need to sit there and talk about this with a psychiatrist. I knew. But what I did take advantage of through this period of time with this psychiatry was to talk about my anger. And boy, did this really help, because I was able to sit down with a psych, because I'll let you know a secret here. When you see a psychiatrist, and if you go into it, or any kind of healthcare professional or something like this, don't go into it expecting you're going to pay them all this money, and then one day you're going to walk in and they're going to go, well, today's the day I give you all the answers. I've taken all your money for 3 years. Today's the day I'm going to give you. It doesn't work like that. There is no day when the psychiatrist gives you the magical answer. You have the answer already. This is what psychiatry is about. You go in, you pay the money, and then they listen to what you're saying, and then they regurgitate what you're saying back to you until you fucking hear it. Yeah? Until you finally hear your own words. That's it. That's the whole deal. That's what psychiatry is. And I have an education to back that up. Okay, so I'm in the psychiatrist. I'm going, look, dude, I know. I want the bazoombas. I've always wanted them. How am I going to deal with the anger? I hate myself, blah, blah, blah. I feel so shit. I take it out on myself. I punch myself. I don't feel good enough. And he said back to me, so what you're telling me is you don't like yourself. And I went, is that what I just said? Well, yeah. Is that why I'm angry? I don't know. Do you get angry over who you are? Well, yeah. Well, our job is done. Goodbye. That didn't fix everything, but I'll tell you what it did do. Huge weight gone. I'm pissed off. I'm angry. I'm taking it out on everyone and myself because I've got this thing inside my heart, inside my brain that I can't change because if I do, everyone's going to still hate me even more. Because heaven forbid you show your feelings, because this person is waiting to tell you you're a dickhead, the sociopath. I'm missing some comments here. Blue Unicorn, just watch you walking and sweating my ass off. My vitamin D levels are kicking it at the moment. Yeah. Vitamin D, I'm getting plenty of it. I'm walking in the sun every day. Woo! Man, I'm loving the vitamin D at the moment. So if you haven't seen my walking series, pop over and have a look at it. Because, man, I lost 1 kilo in already 4 days and changing my diet. It's wicked. The power. All right, so how after all these realizations, how did I fix this? Well, I'll tell you how I fixed it. I haven't yet. I'm a work in progress. But I think less about me now. And I try to think more about other people. So much so that I end up getting to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning and, getting fuck all sleep and editing stuff and helping people with their I put myself under a lot of pressure and barely have any time to shit, think, or eat. Last night I didn't even have dinner. But putting myself back, now that I'm content with who I am at this time, and putting other people ahead has really helped with the thoughts of shitting on myself and taking it out of myself. I haven't physically abused myself in a good period of time. Do I have breakdowns? Absolutely. There's been times of hanging out in a clubhouse with like Brad or something, and something happens and I lose it and go, fuck this. But I don't punch myself. I don't yell at myself that I'm a fucking loser. I don't say any of that hateful stuff to myself anymore. Do I say some other people are fuckheads, yeah. But I wouldn't do it to people's faces or anything like that. Or I just have, I don't have it. Because, here's the thing. Anger, and I'm here finally, Kim. Anger's a good thing at the same time. Don't take this as, again, squashing. We should be angry. We should have that emotion. We should feel compelled to be angry at things because there are a lot of things in this world that are wrong. And there is the uncontrollable fate that we all face of this. The ups and downs, the roller coaster of life that we don't know what's going to hit us each day. One day you're great, the next day you're dead. Life's very random, So it's good to maintain some anger, but the anger where you're like boiling to the point of can't remember anything or punching yourself or taking it out on others, I find that just stopping, whenever I feel it, just going, stop. Just stop for a second. It's that old analogy. This isn't an analogy. This is a best practices thing. If you've ever written an email to somebody or you've done a post on Facebook and it's really, it's really fucking, you know what I mean? Save it as a draft. Put it over there. Come back to it. Trust me. You probably won't post it. So there's a lot in that whole email thing about putting it in a draft. If you can get into practice, I think, in real time, of putting your emotions into a draft folder, save for later, it helps because you got time to cool down. I used to have this boss at work who was really angry. He would lose his shit all the time and kick stuff over. And he was a really little guy too. So when he got angry, he looked like a little Oompa Loompa going, and he wasn't scary at all. I look at him and go, you're like a human chess piece. I'm not even scared of you. But he would get all fired up and he'd punch stuff. And one day at lunch, I suggested to my boss, ballsy move, have you ever thought the next time you get angry, boss, you go for a walk and go grab yourself an ice cream? And the next time he got angry, he fully was right in front of me going and kicking the fucking wall. And he looked over and I was just standing there with my arms crossed looking at him. This guy's like, I'm in my 20s and this guy's in his 50s. And he looks over at me. I'm standing there with my arms crossed just looking at him and he goes, ice cream. And he walks out the door, toddles off. And I went upstairs and I'm looking out the window from where we worked. And there he was, walking along, kicking the dirt, with ice cream in his hand. Oh, fuck. And I had more respect for that dude forever after that. It actually worked. Again, sometimes it's just a quick change of a pattern. There's this song by Led Zeppelin. You may have heard of it. What's it called? Stairway to Heaven. And there's a line towards the end. It says, yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. For me, those lyrics, some of the greatest lyrics of all time. They remind you that we are presented every day with options because our brain presents us with a myriad of options emotionally. And just because you make, this one's for Velcro here, rubbing my hands together, Velcro, love you. Just because one day our emotions choose this path, it doesn't mean we're doomed. Because there's always a chance to turn the corner and take another path. So, I don't know. how you guys cope with anger? Have you come up with some kind of secret sauce to quash? And I'm not just talking about, anger, just general anger. General anger is fine. I'm talking about the blinding range. I'm talking about this anger here, Incredible Hulk anger, the one that turns you green. You end up with a really shit wig, and by the end of the episode, you have to leave town because you've murdered everybody and you're naked and you've got to steal somebody's clothes from the clothesline. Does that happen to anybody else? Or is it just David Banner? I don't know. Hugh Caldwell says, I meditate. Nice. That's good. Thomas Cross says, it goes into music, which is one of the positives. I saw Russ write that earlier too. He channels his anger into... Because Russ used to be a murderer. He was a hitman. He wasn't a hitman. I'm just an idiot. Fat Pancake says, I have zero anger. It's a running joke in the family. Super laid back for some reason. Oh, please, Fat Panda Cat. Don't ever hang out with a sociopath. You are doomed, my friend. Because isn't it ironic with sociopaths? They always seem to sniff out the people who are utterly vulnerable to them. Oh, man. Like, I've never had a sociopath try their shit on me, right? Because not happening, bro. Sis, anyone in between. When I look back years ago, I can't believe how angry I was. I could have been a mad murderer doing life in prison. Feel ya. Feel ya. Me had to leave because of too much anger from other people. Yeah. And other people can be totally horrible people and just always angry with you. Joe Walks. Cut me up in the car angry, do you mean? Robbie takes comfort in karma. Well, that's not good because I never know if I've upset you from day to day, Robbie. So I hope you're not wishing any karma on me on the days that I've upset you, but I don't know that I've upset you. I love you, Robbie. I tend to let a lot of it go over my head. Yeah. Fish is a psychopath magnet. Damn. Well, hey, if anybody uses Tinder, you are a psychopath magnet too. Has anybody ever had a decent hookup from Tinder that didn't involve a psychopath? Leave your comment below. Every hookup I've ever had on Tinder has been like, Jesus Christ. Sociopaths get pissed, then curious when their games don't. Absolutely. They love it. Pookie says, my anger is usually self-directed. It takes me a lot to get angry at others, but when I do, it's not pretty. Ooh, yeah. I'll bet it's pretty no matter what. Joe Barry, she takes a drive. Jenny plots long-term revenge. Oh, my God, where are we going here? David says, I like to count to 10 and visualize that I'm floating in an air balloon. I like that. That's why I have the drone, because I fly it up and I feel like I'm flying, but I'm not. Leela says, I repressed all my anger for years and years thinking I couldn't be angry and a good person. I've got a lot to process. Haven't we all? Every day is a process of learning. Yeah, I love you too, Robbie. I think it's because I understand mental health, but very high tolerance for weird. You got to have a high tolerance for weird, yeah? I'm trying to learn to just shut up sometimes. A friend of mine would get angry at the most trivial things. He's no longer a friend. Yeah, you got to cut that shit out too. You got to cut toxic people out. All right, I've had my rant. Oh, look, I hope this has been something. Yeah, because look who's here. Today's featured artist. One of the most inspiring people I know. I love this guy. This guy's amazing. And I'm going to play his music today to close the show. Because he just is someone super special, that we all should, like I, for one, take a lot of inspiration from Mike Shaner to try and be a better person. Right? And I still wish, to this very day, even while he's here right now, I would love to interview my friend Mike Shaner. And I respect that he doesn't want to do that. But let me tell you, remind you again, Mike, you know you're in safe hands if you ever take up the offer. 100%. Pete, what's going on? There's Party Pete and Fashionably Late. But guess what? He's got YML coming up next where he's playing Your Music Live. So I have a dump set to dump you over, hang out with Pete, listen to Your Music Live. I got to get ready for today's walk, for tomorrow's, I think, where are we walking tomorrow? Today. I think I'm going to take a walk at a sports coliseum. You got to stay tuned tomorrow to see what that's going to be about. Okay, but let's play one of my favorite artists, and this song is called Hard to Walk. And it's hard to listen to because Mike tells it as it is. And if you're sensitive, this may hurt your feelings because he says it exactly how it is. I hope so one day, Mike, because, it would be something special. You know I've got your back, my friend. So let's play this Hard to Walk. There's a pinned comment up the top. Click it. Go subscribe to Mike if you haven't already. And if not, even just go over, click on one of his songs. Just tell him you love him. Okay? All right, I'm out of here. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together. Thanks for hanging out on the rant. I love you all. This is Mike Shaner. Hard to Walk. Boom. Maybe, if I get my sound sorted. Give me a sec. All professional here. This should be better.
we'll all rise together.